You have joined us for the advising session with the College of Engineering. I'm trying to switch the screen here. There. Okay. So we are going to give you an advising session today. You'll be able to meet some of the advising team. Our dean is joining us today, and hopefully we'll give you a little bit of what to expect if, as you're looking at Boise State. And then make sure to give you an opportunity to ask us questions as well. Thank you for introducing yourselves in the chat. That's a great way to ask your questions. Let us know where you're joining us from. So we've got a couple of students from out of state. We're excited to visit with you all. And we definitely want to leave room for question and answer at the end. So today you're going to be hearing from a lot of Boise State, and I'm guessing it's going to be a lot of information overload. So you're going to hear about all the wonderful things we have to offer, what to expect. For the College of Engineering, our advising panel is intended to really help you identify the resources available. The slide that I have up is the undergraduate affairs team. Not all of the team is here in this panel, but you would meet them this summer for orientation. Today, and I'll start with myself, so we're going to introduce ourselves. I'm in the very middle here with our little Brady Brunch photo. Diana Garza, I am the Assistant Dean for Undergraduate Affairs in the college, and I oversee the advising. And I am a Boise State alum. I went to Boise State, and then I've worked on campus in a number of different areas. I've been on campus about 18 years, 9 with the College of Engineering. I really like Boise State, and my favorite part of the job is just really helping students. So getting to work with our students from the beginning, or even like prospective students like you, and all the way to graduation. So here we are. People that are not joining us in this session, but are part of our team. We have bottom right, Janet is our administrative assistant. Bottom left, Leandra is in our student panel. She's our student success coordinator. So you would be working with her from the beginning to the end. Many of you have probably seen emails from her already. Michelle in the pink is our web master. Top right, Brislyn McLaughlin is our civil engineering advisor in another panel. Lynn Olson, middle top row, is mechanical engineering advisor, and she's also in another panel. The rest of our team will introduce themselves now.
Hi, my name is Anne Delaney, and I'm the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Coordinator for the College of Engineering, and I also run a scholarship program for first-year engineering students called Sage Scholars. So if you have any questions about Sage Scholars, I'm happy to answer those at the end. Like Deanna, I'm also an alum of Boise State. I got my bachelor's and master's here in material science and engineering, so it warmed my heart to see that there's somebody who's a hopefully future material science and engineering student in the session today. And I'm most recently from Boise, and my favorite part of the job is really just getting to help students. And I also am privileged to be able to teach them classes, and definitely of all the things that I do, just like the students are always the thing that makes my day.
So hi, my name is Corey Smith. Can you guys hear me? Perfect. My name is Corey Smith, and I'm the academic advisor for the construction management department. I've been on campus for almost 7 years now. It'll be 7 in January, so 6.5. 3 of those years were with the registrar's office, so very policy and procedures driven, transfer credits, you know, the ins and outs of what you have to specifically do to graduate, residency requirements, things like that. So if you have any questions there, I'm happy to help as well.
Hello everyone, I'm Roxanne. I am also Boise State alumni, and I came from Anchorage, Alaska. I graduated with my undergraduate degree in mechanical engineering, and I'm just finishing up my master's in biomedical engineering, and I advise computer science students. So let me know if you have any questions in any one of those categories.
Thanks, team. I also want to point out that everything we're sharing right now, so this PowerPoint we will have on our website. The links that we're sharing, we'll make sure to have that out there available as well. And at the very end, I've got a slide where you can find that on our website. And now we want to hear from our Dean, Dean Leidy.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. My name's Joanne Leidy, and I'm the Dean of Engineering. I've been the Dean of Engineering for about 3 years. My degrees are from the University of Utah in chemical engineering, and I worked as a faculty member there for almost 30 years before coming to Boise State, and I just love being a Bronco. I am currently in the Department of Mechanical and Bioengineering as a professor because my research is in the energy field. So I wanted to just make sure that I welcome you and tell you a little bit about, real quick, you've heard all of these different people and they're going to go over it again, but we actually have 7 opportunities for you to really look into being a major. We've mentioned material science, we've mentioned construction management, we also have civil engineering. I think Roxanne mentioned computer science. We have electrical engineering, something called Engineering Plus, and mechanical engineering. And I think I named them all, I hope. And those are our majors. The really cool thing that we're trying to do is also have a lot of certificate programs available to you. And so certificates are 4 classes, about 12 hours, and they're really an opportunity for you to plus up in something. And so the things that come to mind right away are cybersecurity. And so if you are a mechanical engineering major, you might want to be getting our cybersecurity certificate if you're going to work in a plant. We also have one in data analytics. And so we're really trying to keep you current into what you want to do in your job. We are disappointed we can't have you on our campus, but look forward to meeting you on our campus where we have some very great facilities. We have an engineering innovation studio. Later you'll see a link to a video where you can look at it. We have several engineering buildings, including a brand new Micron Center for Materials Research, which will house research labs, but some really great classroom spaces as well as student study places. Our computer science department is located downtown, and for those of you who may not know the city, that sounds like it's far away, but it's only just either under or over a mile. Roxanne probably has it memorized. We have a really good shuttle system, and the cool part about that is we have a lot of startups and things from computer science, and so a lot of industry folks will pop in for lunch or to play some, I think you have ping pong, and then students can really interface with the with that different degree and hub of people in the downtown area. And so we're a pretty young college, only 20 years old, and that's what makes it such a great place to be, because we have a lot of flexibility to really address being an engineer of the future or computer scientist or construction management. So thank you.
So you're here to hear more about advising at Boise State. What do you think as an advisor? Feel free to put this in the chat. So we might be able to help you with our answer to that. We're going to talk a lot about that, but feel free to kind of tell us what you think an advisor would be doing for you. So first of all, it's going to be a lot of the typical. So you're thinking about, you know, what classes you're going to take, what you need for fall. So we're going to be helping, we're going to talk a little more in depth about that, but in general, that advisor is meant to help you succeed, anything you need. So a great source of information, a referral for many things on campus, clubs, etc. So definitely scheduling your classes for fall, thinking about tutoring options that are available, thinking about how to connect with faculty. The faculty member here in the orange with the Jenga blocks is our civil engineering chair with some students. So just kind of give you an idea of the things that we would be connecting you with. The team or the group of students on the left is one of our exchange programs. And they were here from Columbia, and the group of students got to go to a football game in the fall, and they just really loved it. And they went with one of our students from here. So that was a fun exchange. And we've got a lot of exchange programs as well, where we have our students go to Columbia and other countries. And then we've got on the bottom, we've got Dean Leidy with a group of our students. And I can't remember what setting that is, but really what I wanted to point out is your advisor will help connect you with a number of different resources. And obviously the basics, classes, what you need for fall, how to be an excellent student, connecting with tutoring, but then the other things that are happening around campus as well. In the fall, and whether you major in engineering or not, all of you will have a required advising hold. So in our college, ideally you meet with your advisor once a semester, maybe once a year if you don't need to go in that often. Be in touch at least electronically via an email. So your first semester, it is required you meet with your advisor. They will help you look at classes and make sure you're on the right track. And there's actually a hold. It will help you have that one-on-one time to get your questions answered. In our case, we encourage you to do that at any time. There's no reason to wait for that required advising hold. So now we're going to go look at what a degree plan looks like. As the questions from the chat start rolling in, we'll make sure to address those. So I see we do have a question, so we're not going to forget that. We'll have an opportunity at the end to go over those. Keep asking as you think of something, keep putting them in there.
Hello everyone, Roxanne here. So we are going to take a look at the degree plans that we have at Boise State. And so here on the next slide, you're going to see our webpage. And we have 7 degree plans like Joanne, our dean, Dr. Leidy mentioned. And there's a link at the bottom of the screen, and we're also going to share a link in the chat. So therefore, you can access these and look at the degree plan that is specific for you. And Deanna, will you please go to the next slide so they can see what we're talking about?
I'm trying. I'm sorry. I'm having problems over here. Yes.
All right. So here's that slide I was mentioning. This is on our webpage. And back to the 7 degree plans. And so every degree plan that you'll access here will have on the first page a recommended for-year path. And then on the second page, it will have a flow chart. And the flow chart will really highlight prerequisites that we want you to take note of. I do want to point out the Engineering Plus degree that was mentioned. I think this is a really unique degree and might be appealing to some of you that are undecided. And maybe you like engineering, but maybe you like business, or you like engineering, but you like art, or you want to kind of bridge these two interesting skill sets so that it can appeal to your career goals later. It is a general bachelor's in engineering, and it will be unique to you. So while we have provided you with examples of degree plans, we can always customize a degree plan for you using the Engineering Plus option. I would also like to just throw out for anybody who's interested in pre-med that the Engineering Plus opportunity does have a pre-med option where it now combines the engineering general coursework with the prerequisites to medical school. So that's a pretty cool degree to just kind of keep in mind going forward. On the next slide, we're going to give you an example of what the mechanical engineering 4-year plan looks like. So this is just a recommended course, a semester to semester course, so it's starting from point A to point B. Degree plans are like Legos in the sense that we can arrange them in a lot of different ways. I like to joke using 120 as the number, since that's the minimum number of credits that you need to have to graduate with a bachelor's at Boise State. That if I had 120 Legos and you had 120 Legos, we could build different looking structures, but we still use the same amount of Legos. So our programs are eligible for Finish in 4. All of our degree plans do start in Math 170, which is calculus, And Anne is going to go over the math placement here soon. So for those of you who have questions about your ACT or SAT scores, keep that in mind. And now we're going to talk about the flow chart and looking in those critical prereqs. And we did use computer science as the example since I'm the computer science advisor. And I like to say computer science can't be finished in anything less than 6 semesters. And the reason that I say that is because it has 6 very critical courses, starting with Math 170. Math 170 is the prerequisite for Computer Science 121, which is our first computer science class. That class is for students who maybe haven't programmed at all, but they know they like computer science. But it does have that prereq. And then that prereq transitions to Computer Science 2, and then data structures, which I like to joke is Computer Science 3, and then our senior capstones. So any major that you pick will have a critical path such as what I just described. Whether it's mechanical or civil, they have an application to upper division. Therefore, you might have a very critical freshman and sophomore year so that you can get admitted into your upper division coursework junior and senior year. With that being said, when you have questions, just reach out to an academic advisor. We are happy to help you at any point in your academic career, whether it's while you're still in high school as a junior or a senior, or whether it's, you know, you're signing up for orientation and you just want to get ahead of the game and talk about your AP scores or concurrent enrollment scores. But prereqs are important, and so it's important that we take those into account when we're mapping out your 4-year or 5-year plan.
Thank you, Roxanne. Anne is going to go over math placement next. I just wanted to quickly chime in. I mentioned we're going to have a copy of this PowerPoint available for you to look at on the finished PowerPoint that we'll have. So we only covered a couple of the degree plans. We actually have all of them in the PowerPoint. So you'll be able to find all of those, including material science and construction management and the rest of them. So I just wanted to mention that really quick.
Thanks, Deanna. And also the link that Corey put in the chat earlier has a link to that page that has all of the 4-year plans on it. So that can be a fun thing to look over as you're thinking about what your future career as an engineering student might look like. One of the really important parts of all of our engineering degrees is the math classes. So Roxanne was talking about prerequisites, and those are courses that you have to take before other courses. So in math, we have kind of a sequence that usually starts with calculus and then goes to calculus 2, calculus 3, sometimes differential equations depending on your major. So those sorts of pathways are really important because you have to know which classes you have to take in order to get to the next step in your degree. And how we determine where you start in math is based on your math scores. So usually we start with the SAT or ACT scores. I know that with everything that's going on in the world right now, there may be some of you that didn't get a chance to take those tests. And if that is the case, feel free to reach out to us and we'd be happy to connect you with admissions to get that sorted out. So looking at those scores, that can tell us which math class you're placed into. And so this chart at the top of the screen shows the ACT or SAT math scores and the math classes that they place into. Now, I know sometimes people take the SAT or the ACT earlier in high school, and maybe the scores that you got don't reflect your current math knowledge. There are a couple of ways to increase your math placement to a higher class that might be more reflective of where you're at. One way is through AP scores, and so like AP calculus is a common one that people will take, and that can place you into a higher math class if you score the right score on the AP test. Another option is through the AccuPlacer math placement exam. So if you don't have any other test scores that reflect where your math knowledge is at right now, you can take that placement exam through the testing center, and that can help increase your math placement to where you feel like you should be. So as an example, if you got a 26 on the ACT, like Billy in our example here, that could place you into Math 143, which is pre-calculus or college algebra. Depending on which scores you have, that determines your math placement. So again, if you have any questions about math placement, I'd be happy to talk with you more about that in the questions. Now I'll pass it back to Deanna.
So there are a lot of activities going on today. So I'm guessing you've attended some of the other sessions on our website, which I think the link has been posted up there. You can find the other College of Engineering things going on. The other thing that I want to point out, so the video pictures that you see on this particular screen are all videos of some sort. And so some of them are a little question and answer. Some of them is a little bit of a day in the life of a student. So there's something for everyone. So if you don't get a chance to do that today during kind of the scheduled time, we've posted all of the links up. So you're welcome to kind of go check those out at any time and kind of learn more and then follow up with us. You don't have to limit yourself to today to learn more about our institution. So we had some questions out there being put in the chat. So we want to make sure to address that. So one of our questions, if I caught that correctly, is, and I'll ask the question and see which one of our advisors wants to start. So if I'm an undecided student, how do I, undecided, but I kind of like engineering, where do I start from there? How do I proceed?
Roxanne, do you want to take that one since you have experience being undecided?
Sure, I would love to. I was just seeing if anybody else wanted to chime in since I took it last time. But when you're a little bit undecided, as somebody who was undecided and changed their major, I think 2 times, I think the best advice that I got along my path in making my decision was to actually go and look at the job market and do a job search. And then depending on what the qualifications were down at the bottom for the job that I was interested in, it helped me target my decision. I think that the more people that you talk to, the more information you can gather, and then that can also help you kind of narrow your interest. There's a lot of really good undergraduate research going on, so getting involved on campus and maybe working for a couple different instructors on different research, get more than one internship involved in different aspects of mechanical or computer science. But yeah, I think that when you're making that decision, just know that most of our degree plans overlap for the first year or so. And so we can kind of keep you undecided while you explore and gather knowledge to help you make the right decision.
Yeah, and I would also chime in that most or all of the departments have what are called seminars, and those are weekly classes that usually meet for about an hour where they bring in guest speakers or they have folks from on campus that are doing research that talk about what they're doing in that field. And so those seminar classes can be a really great way to kind of dip your toe into a certain field of engineering and see what it might be like, because they offer a lot of different snapshots of what different aspects of being, say, a material scientist might be like.
One of the questions we get a lot is about the opportunities for internships and research. Does somebody want to take that? So as an undergraduate student, at least 80% of our students are able to participate in undergrad research. So that's something that we really pride ourselves on. And I say at the undergrad level, because at some institutions, it's really the grad students. You have to wait till you're a grad student to be able to do that. So we have lots of opportunities for that. Does somebody else want to chime in and add some comments there?
Yeah, that's okay. So Roxanne and I both did undergraduate research, I believe, and that was something that in my experience really helped me kind of connect what I was doing in the lab to what I was learning in my classes. So again, I was a material science major, and I started doing research the summer before my junior year, though I actually know people that started doing research as a freshman, so I think it's really never too early to get started. But that opportunity helped me see, as I was in my thermodynamics and kinetics classes, oh, this thing that I did in the lab, that connects with this concept that I was learning. And Trevor, that's a great question about undergraduate research. Typically it is paid, There are some instances where you might start off as a volunteer to kind of test drive the lab and get some experience and then move on to a paid position. That was what I did. I actually worked as a peer advisor in the College of Engineering for a summer as a paid position, and then was able to volunteer in the lab and then get picked up as a paid student in the fall. But there are actually some programs on campus that help you get the funding to do research, and there are a lot of opportunities for paid research at various levels. So it's a great way to get context. That and internships are both great ways to get experience in your major, and that's something that we really found is critical for people to have an easier time finding jobs when they graduate, because they have that experience not just with book learning, but also with having done stuff in their field.
So I'm going to add on to that and just say that the advice that I give to most students is, if you're interested in working for a professor on campus, and because their research area is specific to your career goals, send them an email, ask for a tour of their research lab, engage in conversation with them, and then potentially wait for an opportunity to develop itself. Always be sure, if you're on work study through financial aid, to mention that to faculty. Work study is a great opportunity for you to potentially get a position, a paid undergraduate research position in a lab, without that faculty potentially having to take from their grant money to pay you and create a position. So be sure to mention that. We do have a coordinator, Leandra, whose picture was referenced in the Brady Bunch style slide, and the link that we gave you to our staff will have her contact information. But she sends out opportunities to students almost daily about local internship opportunities, or even out-of-state opportunities that are being promoted for Boise State students. You can also look for them yourself and go to her, and she'll help you with your resume and your cover letter for a specific job. And then the departments themselves do a lot of recruiting for positions. So they'll send out emails about opportunities as well. I'm not sure if somebody mentioned it yet, but we do have career fairs. We have an engineering specific career fair. We have a construction management specific career fair. And then Boise State University hosts career fairs as well during the fall and spring semesters. So there's a lot of opportunities for students to get relevant work experience before they graduate.
I just jump in and add one more thing that Corey nicely reminded us by posting the link in the chat. Actually, as a result of the situation with the coronavirus and things having gone remote, there's kind of a unique opportunity this year to get a look at what undergraduate research looks like for our engineering students, and that's through the Undergraduate Research Showcase. So typically this is an on-campus event where students present oral presentations and posters about their research, but this year it was moved online, and so actually there's an opportunity for you all to go and check that out. So there were lightning talks that were live streamed and are now available on YouTube that were presentations given by undergraduate students that had done research, both within the College of Engineering and across campus. And we also have a virtual poster session. And so those posters kind of offer a window into what these engineering undergraduate students are working on for research. And we also have an undergraduate research scholar designation that is something that is available as you get closer to graduation. One thing Roxanne mentioned about departments advertising jobs and kind of reaching out to faculty. I actually got my research job because I took a class from the professor that I ended up working with, and then I reached out to him by email. I knew he had a lab, and I was just like, hey, can we meet sometime and talk about your research? We have a really great campus jobs website, but these undergraduate research positions are a great example of how networking can be really important, because they may not always be posted on there, but by reaching out to faculty whose research you're interested in and that sort of thing, there are lots of ways to get connected with those opportunities.
I do want to add, I think that is another really neat feature about Boise State. Somebody was asking, what do you like about Boise State? There's a lot of things. But I do think that the size of our school, it's a good size, but it still really makes it accessible. Faculty are really accessible, and Anne kind of talked about that. Joanne mentioned getting to know faculty, and it just really kind of registered with me. We have some amazing faculty that could go to much bigger institutions, but they want to be here because they know that we're kind of on the cutting edge. We're on the cusp of something. We've just been listed among the top 50 most innovative institutions. That says a lot about us. And the College of Engineering is only 20 years old. And that means, you know, we're just starting. We are just getting started. So there's so much exciting things going on. And I think sometimes that's what motivates our faculty to be part of that kind of innovation. And that's what you get to be part of. You get to meet with them. And what they do involves students. So you can reach out to them, be part of their labs, join in activities that way.
And I think another thing that a lot of the faculty that I've heard have expressed that they really love about Boise State, and I think another thing that keeps them here that's also a really fantastic advantage as a student, is all of the outdoor recreation activities that we have. So one of the things that I would be doing if it was any other year is hosting a summer program called Raise for incoming freshmen, where we would actually spend some time on campus and then go rafting and hiking in the mountains. And I think that's something that, like, I've definitely heard jokes that especially the material science department, a lot of the faculty look like they're about to go on a hike. And I think that's something that is a really great melding of our city and the natural opportunities that we have around with what's going on at Boise State, is that everybody really kind of has that shared love of the outdoors.
Mm-hmm. And I'll piggyback on that and just say that there's more to the academic experience or college experience than just going to class and doing your homework and taking your exam. It's about getting involved, and it's about doing things. So join an intramural sport, join a sorority, join a fraternity, you know, get involved, have fun along the way. There's a lot of cool clubs on campus that you can get involved in. The Society of Women Engineers, for example, they will go to a career fair and they travel, and that's great exposure and networking for the individuals involved in that. And so if you ever have questions, know that we are here to tell you more than just what classes to take and when. We can help get you pointed in the right direction for something that you may be interested in outside of academics.
Yeah, and Roxanne mentioned the Society of Women Engineers, and I'm going to put in a quick plug for that because I'm actually the advisor for that club. So I work with the students in that club and sometimes travel with them to that conference that Roxanne mentioned. So there are a lot of, we were talking about like things outside of class that can really help build your experience as an engineering major, and clubs are a big one. And in the College of Engineering, we have a number of clubs that are connected with different majors. So like civil engineering, mechanical engineering, those clubs have projects that they work on that help students build experience and get technical skills. And then we also have more affinity-based clubs, so like the Society of Women Engineers, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, clubs like that, to help you get connected with people across majors that might have similar backgrounds to you. And I'm going to stop talking because my dogs are barking.
Well, we got about 5 minutes. Anybody want to brave another question for us?
I was just wondering if there were people going to start in the fall, and we've been talking about the various student groups, and I just wanted the people who might be starting in the fall to know that we have a really busy summer ahead of us. A lot of things have changed because we went remote, and we have a lot of working groups trying to sort out how we regroup in the fall to do our student organizations and do some of our labs and hands-on experiences in a different way. And so I'm really excited about what we've learned in being remote and moving forward into the fall. Boise State, by its nature, also has about 26,000 students, and every year nearly 15,000 of them take an online course of some kind. So being remote is something a lot of people are used to.